What is up, pizza people? It's your boy Graham, also known as HamHocks42 on the internet, and I'm joined by the one and only HearSayTTV, and it is your weekly dose of news from here at the Pizza Box. And so, Hearsay, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Fantastic. Can't wait to get through this. This is going to be amazing. As always, we love doing these weekly news videos for you guys. So let's get to it.
Absolutely. So the first thing that we want to cover are there were a number of tournaments that took place this past weekend. Not to mention we did actually have an alchemy tournament that we held here at the Pizza Box. So we are going to be touching on that. There was also a pretty large standard tournament that Team DGen put on. So the DGen Open, that is going to be something that we're going to be discussing as well. We're going to look into the top eights of those tournaments and take a little bit of a look at what the meta is like in alchemy and standard, how it's shaking out, what decks you might be interested in, and actually you can see those decks here on this channel as well. In the future with us playing through some of the decks that were successful in these tournaments. So please like and subscribe and do all the YouTube things so you can see those in the future. All right.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
so first up, let's go ahead and start with. Do you want to start with alchemy or standard? What are you feeling?
I think we start with alchemy.
Sounds good. So the alchemy, the slice of alchemy this past weekend was a good time actually. We both had the honor of working on it, and it was kind of the tale of two decks. At the end of the day, mono green aggro and Rakdos sacrifice. There was also Rakdos mid range. I suppose they did play out differently, but
hmm
at the end of the day, we were looking at a lot of Rakdos and mono green. That was really where the success seemed to be. That's the cream that rise to the top.
Yeah, I'm
With
pretty sure they
yeah,
tied each other at 7 decks apiece into the tournament.
I think yes, and at the end of the day, it was a mono green aggro that actually ended up going 8-0, completely undefeated, and took the whole thing down. So mono green aggro still alive and well in alchemy.
Yeah, still alive and well. I mean, in a world where Rakdos can be on top, and you're seeing a lot of these mid-range kind of grindy decks that like Rakdos is. That mono green aggro, every card ends up being a huge threat, and getting into that 4 toughness, 5 toughness range, especially when you're in that 5 toughness range, that voltage surge just isn't the removal for them anymore, and then you hitting the old growth troll, and even though you got rid of it once, you got to get rid of it again. Like it just everything in the mono green list was just a threat, and it kept coming back. And even though you cleared the board, it's like, here you go, here's another 4/5, or you clear the board again, they top deck the invoke the ancients, and here's 2 4/5s vigilance or tramples that are coming down your throat. It was a fantastic to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And you named a couple of key cards that were relatively new. I mean, if you think of the mono green deck that we saw in standard months ago now, it was a lot of Werewolf Pack Leader and Old Growth Troll. Well, that's still happening because that sequence is fantastic. But we
Mhm.
also had some newer cards in Invoke the Ancients making a splash because it turns out when you spend 5 mana and get 2 4/5s, both with keyword upsides that you get to select, turns out that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah,
And
for
we
sure.
yeah, and we find that in the Rakdos matchup, all the creatures are fairly small, so they were trying to chump block, so the trample counters became very relevant. Meanwhile, in the mirror, in the mono green mirror, the vigilance counters ended up being really where it was at. So seeing that flexibility on that card really come into play and be very meaningful was very cool. We also had Forceful Cultivator, which was a card that I'll be honest, I got wrong during the
Man,
Alchemy
this
preview season.
yeah. I
Um,
looked at that card and I was originally like, it's like, okay, cool. It's a 4 mana, get you a land, cool, whatever.
yeah,
And then then you keep reading like, oh, wait a minute, it costs 2 less if you don't have a land in your hand, and then it goes and gets you a land.
yeah. Well, and I
Oh,
thought my thought on it was, so I have to keep a bad hand for this card to be good? Like, why
yeah,
would I do that? Like, what's the benefit there? However, it doesn't count modal DFCs as lands. So you can keep a hand that has 5 lands in it, effectively, but they're the tap lands in
yeah,
Turn Timber Symbiosis or Colony Ambush. Or Title
mammoth.
Florahedron. I mean, these little modal DFCs, the
Mhm.
Forceful Cultivator doesn't recognize those as lands because they're spells on the front face. So turns out, green, even running the Forceful Cultivator, they still weren't missing their land drops, and they were able to ramp with the Cultivator on turn 2 pretty
Yeah,
consistently. So it was pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's very great list to see. So yeah, we had that. That went 8-0. The next list that was into the finals was the Rakdos Sacrifice. I definitely was like, Mono Green's taking this down. So I don't think Sacrifice has the tools to beat Mono Green. I was really hoping that the Rakdos mid range had have made it into the finals because mid range definitely would have put up like a bigger fight. But yeah, Mono Green going 8-0. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Rakdos Sacrifice deck, it's running some key pieces that you see in Alchemy and City Stalker Connoisseur. There was Voldaren Epicure, Deadly Dispute, Voltage Surge, like you mentioned. Some, Painful Bond is a new Alchemy card that is frankly fantastic in a deck with a
Hmm.
really low curve like this. So it's no surprise that those were part of that deck as well. But it was also the only called Anvil. Like it was the Anvil show in a
Oh,
big
the
way.
yeah, that card can just grind you out. That you always, and it's always funny. You always think that, oh, it's just one damage,
Yeah, I can take
and
one. It's
you
fine.
you you have that thought for like, I don't know, 6, 7 turns, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm at 8.
Yeah.
And then you stack two of them on top of each other. Now you're taking 2 damage a turn. Oh yeah, it can definitely grind you out. So if you're a faster deck like Mono Green is, then you're
Mhm.
gonna do well. But if you're on that mid range or control list, this thing just pings you and pings you and pings you and pings you, and then you're just dead, and you have no responses to it.
Yep, you better be gaining life because they're gonna be taking your life. There's no
Yeah.
question about it. Yeah, it's good stuff. So it was fun to watch. I gotta say those decks paired up nicely against each other. So the Rakdos mid range list, we're still looking at Fable, or sorry, City Stalker Connoisseur, but you also have Fable the Mirror Breaker in there because those two together,
Hmm.
whoo, that's scary stuff. Um, yeah, and we also had good, just more removal is really the key, one of the key differences there. And we're looking at Meat Hook Massacres, a lot of targeted removal, and also hand disruption in cards like Undercity Plunder.
I think Undercity Plunder, I think, is one of the best cards in Alchemy. The fact that you have to discard one card and then you have to choose of discarding another one, or I get something. I just randomly get something out of your deck.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
is so much card advantage. You're losing a card and I'm gaining a card while spending a card.
yeah, it's pretty darn good. To
Yeah.
the point where I don't know that I can argue that assertion that it's possibly the most powerful card in Alchemy right now. Like it's up there in the conversation. So yeah, Black has a lot of great tools to disrupt the opponent's hand in Alchemy right now, and they were coming
Hmm.
in full force in this tournament.
And just having spells like Bloodthirsty Adversary into the mid range list, being able to cast a spell with 3 CMC or less after you've already cast it is huge.
Oh,
And say
absolutely.
in the late game, you say you have 8 mana down and you top deck a Bloodthirsty Adversary, you're going to get 2 spells.
Yeah.
So
It's
being able to, Painful Bond, where you have no cards in hand, now you have 4 cards in hand. And then again, like Molten Impact is a great removal spell. Undercity Plunder, again, great hand hate, and also like putting cards in your hand. Like the Rakdos mid range, I was really hoping it was gonna go to the distance. Unfortunately, it fell short, but still a great list in Alchemy for sure.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Were there any other alchemy decks you wanted to touch on, or should we move over to the standard
I think
tournament
we
with
can,
the
we can
Degen
definitely
Open?
jump over to the standard DGen tournament. Another great tournament that happened over the weekend. There was over 100 participants into it. A lot of fun decks. A lot of fun decks. Like I
Hmm.
said, standard is still not figured out yet. You can kind of play whatever you want, and as long as you kind of know the deck and what it wants to do, and kind of not deviate from your plan, you can play literally anything. There's is it control list that's going around. There's is it combo lists. I'm seeing reanimator lists go around. Jeskai Mill, Naya Runes, Combo, Esper Planeswalkers, Orzov, Teamer, Rakdos, Mono White, Azorius, Mono Green, like all these, like that's just it. Like Sander just isn't figured out. There's no the
Hmm.
best deck. But clearly in this tournament, there was a best deck, being the Jeskai combo ran by Tristan. They went 10-1 in this tournament.
That's darn impressive. No question
Yeah.
about it. Well, and the Jeskai combo deck is interesting. I mean, Jeskai is a very powerful color combination, no question. But it's funny when I look at this list, I can't help but notice the only 8 creatures that they are running: four
Hmm.
gold spans, 4 Leers. What else do you need? I
Yeah.
mean,
What more do you need? And then I think they have smoldering eggs to the side just for those aggro
mhm,
matchups that sometimes they're literally just there for a block. Let's see, smoldering eggs.
Actually, the list that won it
They're
doesn't
not
look like
running
they do.
smoldering eggs.
Nope, they're
Yeah,
not running small.
they
This
want
particular
more
list isn't.
removal.
Yeah.
This particular list. More removal, saw it coming. So another Galvanic, Test of Talent, Stroke, Sidderclasm, Behold the Multiverse, a great card to be able when you're down and out, you need more cards. This Jeskai list and the Izzet list, they just see so many cards. And that's what makes it such an easy list to just ram through your cards, find your combo, find the gold span, get there, and then you're done. Especially like when the gold span's on the field, you have 2 treasures. Now your unexpected windfalls are basically they're free because your treasures tap for 2. You get 2 cards, you make 2 treasures. Do it again. Like it's just the list just can go insane. The second place was Naya Runes. Obviously, not to be unexpected. This list can get out of control really, really, really fast. We've seen some renditions of the list. I think this was the Naya Runes list that was in second place was the running the Fabled Mirror Breaker. This was really, really cool tech that we've seen in other streamers, such as CGB, who was running this list with the Mirror Breaker. Being able to copy a Rune Forge and go find another rune. Being able to copy a Jukai Naturalist to make your enchantments cost that 1 less. Or even just getting a Kami for a turn. It getting haste and you being able to ramble through more enchantments to build that Kami up. The list just gets insane. And then they have cards into the sideboard like Elite Spellbinder. We already know how brutal that card can be. Being able to get hand information and then take something away from you that you're going to be on curve, costing 2 more mana. Now I'm going to do it again. And then next turn, do it again. Like this list was really, really cool. I really enjoyed seeing it work out. It was awesome to see it go off. And then in third place, we had another Jessica combo list. And in fourth place, we had Tomash or the Ninja playing Jeskai Mill. This list was insane to watch. They went 7-3. I got to catch a couple of their games, and they went from being they're out, they're out. The game's over, and it takes one top deck for them just to go boop, 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 and Milieu, you are done. Let's go to game 2. All right, do it again. All right, let's keep going. Like it was insane to watch.
Yeah, you can't count out that Tasha City's laughter coming off the top, or the Madden cacophonies. It's scary stuff. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love watching a mill list pop off. It's a beautiful thing to see, because you're right. It can create those moments when it looks like one player clearly has the game in hand, and then all of a sudden their library is gone.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
and it's just
I
one of
enjoyed
those
it.
things like the hideous laughter of being like, oh, it exiles 20 CMC worth of cards. And
Yeah.
then you're thinking like, oh, that's actually quite a bit. That's a lot. But when you get to when you go up against a mono white list where their list is maybe what I would say maybe like 60 CMC.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Their curve tops out at 3 or so. It's
Yeah. So
you
and
can
then
really hit it hard.
you're gonna even with the
Yeah.
draws that they have, they're gonna have creatures in their hand, and you're already drawn to your combo, and they're drawing cards, so they're constantly reducing their CMC, and they already have run a low CMC as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So now you go, Galvanic into Galvanic, all right, Tasha's Hideous Laughter to ramble through a deck in a turn was butter. Like it just was like a knife going through butter. And you're just like, yeah, all right, that's like I remember watching one, it was like one game and Tomash had only milled 9. Like they copied it 3 times. The first time, mills 9. Second time, milled 12. I think there was still 24 cards left in the deck, and then all of a sudden their deck was gone.
That's incredible. Also,
Right? And it's just one of those tournament events where you're just like, all right.
I love watching that resolve on Arena too, because if you only hit a couple, the cards move really slowly. But if you hit a good chunk, they just speed right into that exile zone. It's fun to watch. Yeah,
but yeah, they had a great tournament. All the lists was shown out. Let's see here. Type of decks here. So the most list they had there was Esper Control at 30. The second highest was the Raptor Sacrifice at 20. and Orzhov at 17, and then it kind of just trickles down into like Teamer Treasures, tokens, combo, Martyr mid range. Like I said, like there's so many different deck lists in Standard that it's not solved yet,
Yeah.
and it's a fun format to play when there's not one or two decks that are just absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's no surprise that we saw, Orzhov and those kinds of colors. Like the word is out. Like when you put white and black together in the current standard, good things happen. And Naya Runes, we've seen that deck be very explosive in the past. We've also seen that deck get completely shut down in
Oh
previous
man,
tournaments as
there's
well.
there's nothing better than watching that runes list get absolutely trounced on.
Yeah, a couple of good pieces of removal can really shut that runes deck down. However, one good top deck is all it takes for the rune deck to rebuild.
And that's it. It takes one or two creatures, and you're in trouble.
Hmm. So yeah, we've seen it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've ripped 3 board wipes against the Naya Rune deck, and they somehow came back to win it. It happens, and
Hmm.
yeah. So it's an interesting situation, interesting meta. I'm glad to see that the Naya Runes are still viable without being dominant. I think that's a really good place to be. So
Yeah.
I like it.
And just for you fine folks there at home, we will have a couple links down into the YouTube channel here that you can go in and actually check out the meta breakdown that we usually go off of for our stats and for building and for what's being played out on the ladder. The links will be down underneath. And let's talk about our upcoming tournaments coming up this weekend. We got 2 tournaments that are both set championship qualifiers. We have the GG Tour Arena Cup #4, and our offers our very own on Sunday. Don't forget to sign up. Come and have some fun with us. It is $6 as an entry for the set championship qualifier. We're going to have a lot of fun. We have a lot of talent that's going to be at the tournament and also commentating. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we have $240 in cash prizes. We have the invitation for the actual set championship qualifier, and it is this Sunday. Let me make sure I get the date correct. Because I want to make sure I got that right. This Sunday, the 17th.
Hmm.
Yep, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific or Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, definitely look forward to see you there. It's gonna be a blast. It's on MTG Melee. Links in the description, and you can absolutely sign up between now and then. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, and as it comes forward, guys, definitely look forward to our future videos. We're gonna have some videos out for you guys about the past weekend's tournament, playing some Rakdos mid range. We're gonna play some tokens. We're gonna play some mono green in from the Alchemy tournament that we just had. So yeah, definitely look out for these videos and have a good time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing, when it comes to new videos, we also do have some new videos covering the spoilers from Streets of New Capenna. That is one of the, when it comes to the news, that's the hot button or the hot topic at the moment. The spoilers are coming in fast and hard, and we do have a couple of spoiler videos that we've done to kind of cover some of the big swaths of the spoilers themselves. And also later this week, we will be doing a full set review. So
Yeah.
please
So
check that
definitely
out.
keep your eyes open for that, and definitely come over and check her out. And what else? We have our future videos, upcoming tournaments. Yeah, I think that's it for the
Yeah,
news.
absolutely. I think that covers it. It actually is a relatively slow news week in the magic world, which is just fine, And I think a lot of people we're all too busy looking over the new Capenna spoilers to be,
Yeah.
or gearing
Oh,
up for these tournaments. Yeah.
and speaking of spoilers, friends, keep in mind that they've changed the release
Mm,
date of the new cards. So Arena is actually going to get them a week later, and Paper is actually going to be the first ones to get it. So when you go and see the cards, you're like, oh, whoa, how come Arena didn't get it? That's why they changed it up. So keep in mind, we all have to wait another week to play them on Arena.
yes. And so if you are eager to get your hands on the new Capenna cards and you just cannot wait for that Arena launch, go to a pre-release at your local game store. For the rest, otherwise it's going to be a week later on Arena. That's
Yeah.
how they're doing it this time. Yep.
All right, guys, that's our news for this week. We can't wait to see you in next time. Have a good one. And as always, stay cheesy.